Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to make a contribution to the debate on the Waste Avoidance and Resource Recovery Amendment Container Deposit Scheme Bill 2016, and would like to start by congratulating the community and all of the organisations that have been pushing for this for a very long time. It has been a long wait through many years, dare we say 16 years of a former Labor government. It has been a long wait for many years for this day, and congratulations to the many thousands of people across this state that have pushed this government into action and seen the introduction of the Container Deposit Scheme. It is worth noting that it is actually a Liberal National Government that has introduced this Container Deposit Scheme, and unfortunately is not something that we saw from the former Labor government, although it is welcome that now they are not going to be opposing this. The member for Ballina in this place has already outlined the Greens' position in relation to this bill and flagged the amendments we will be moving in the other place, as well as the concerns that still stand around this bill. There is never going to be a perfect bill when we're seeing the bill introduced by a neoliberal, liberal national government. The reality is that we will never see a perfect bill from them, but the community must know that we should claim this as a win.
Order.
Because this is a win for the environment and it is a win for our community, and wins are rare. In fact, they are very rare in this current climate, and so when the community is heard and the government responds, we should recognise that and we should claim it as for what it is, which is a win. Oh, we could talk about democracy and Sydney Park and WestConnex, but I won't do that now. As the member for Terrigal pointed out, as someone that grew up in South Australia, I was not aware that the idea of having your bottles collected and having a deposit scheme in place was not just the norm everywhere. I assumed that that was how things occurred, and it was something that I discovered very quickly was not the case in New South Wales, and you could see the result of it. The amount of litter that is left as a result of there not being a container deposit scheme means that our environment is damaged as a result, and it is something that we will now see improvements from, and that is a very positive thing, something that should be encouraged and something that we are very much welcoming of. I'd like to specifically thank the Boomerang Alliance for their work, and Greenpeace and all of the other organisations that have mobilised people. We heard from hundreds, over 500 constituents in the electorate of Newtown specifically talking to us and asking us to support the strong and effective container deposit scheme. They noted that the pollution from drink containers, particularly plastics, is a massive environmental issue, especially for our oceans and beaches. Those constituents didn't want just any container deposit scheme. They wanted a proven scheme that would make a real difference. They saw the beverage industry lobbying the New South Wales government and loudly opposed a scheme that would be based on the industry's preferred model. Many of them raised the imperative that the scheme be a model with a direct refund to customers. Meg of Erskineville said, "A refund on bottles makes a huge sense if we are to drastically limit plastic pollution. The evidence of its success is in from South Australia, so please act now so New South Wales can do its bit." Rachel of Marrickville wrote, "I want a recycling refund scheme in New South Wales that actually works." And Nicholas of Camperdown said, "Please support the community effort and have an effective recycling refund scheme implemented in New South Wales. Other states have done so with great results, so can we." And Simone of Newtown said, "I want a recycling refund scheme in New South Wales with recycling technology available to us in this day and age, and the amount of plastic and aluminium waste that is circulating in our oceans, there is simply no excuse anymore for not implementing a scheme in New South Wales." And Dale of Erskineville said, "OMG, this is a no-brainer." Well, I can say to Meg, to Rachel, to Nicholas, Simone, Dale, and the 500 more constituents that directly wrote to us to advocate for this scheme and to ensure that we held the government strong on this scheme, that while we do have some concerns, we have achieved a significant win to see this legislation being debated here in this place today with all parties and all people in this place supportive of it. I recognise the Boomerang Alliance for their strong advocacy and work on it, and really want to stress that collection points need to be convenient and accessible, and we need to make sure that they are available to all communities. We also need to recognise that while there are concerns around areas within New South Wales that might not see the depots, we also need to recognise of how we support our inner city residents, many of whom don't have cars, many of whom won't stop and drive to the supermarket or to the petrol station. Make sure that they have easy ways to be able to drop off their bottles and containers at the depot. And as has been pointed out by other members, we may well see the fundraising initiatives as a result of this container deposit legislation for local organisations and groups willing to do that pickup. And I know that my parents in South Australia have always had the Scouts come and collect their bottles from the many gatherings that we have at our house in South Australia, and I'm sure that they have funded a lot of the Scouts activities over the years as a result of enjoying a beer or two. So I would like to again reiterate and congratulate the community for their efforts. I would like to say that this is a positive move by this government, listening to the community. It is a rare thing that they do that, but in this case they have done it. It is great to see that it is a move that will see many of the waste and many of the containers in our environment, destroying our environment, now removed from our precious environment. I congratulate the government on introducing this scheme. It is long overdue, and a massive well done to all of the community members who have stood up and put the pressure on to make sure that this parliament finally acts.